Good morning, everybody. This is Catherine, and today is April 5th. I was asked if I might do some daily Feldenkrais offerings, little mini offerings to my student population. And so this is my first attempt at creating a daily ditty. So the question is, how might you approach creating a daily Feldenkrais practice? And the reason for this question is because, like other mind-body movement practices, daily practice within your modality can be very helpful on many levels, especially in these times of living in physical and social distancing as a result of the the coronavirus pandemic. So here are some suggestions. First off, think about the habits of your daily life. And certainly these days, your habits are being perhaps drastically impacted, and you're having to change them. But what are the first 4 habits that come to mind for you? And what do these habits suggest about who you are? Do they serve you in productive ways? Or are they ones that you wonder about, particularly in these days, and ask yourself, do I need to continue with this? So that's a place to start, because the Feldenkrais method, one of the benefits of the Feldenkrais method is an expansion of awareness through paying attention. And this paying attention takes place through a movement journey that gives a lot of emphasis to noticing through the senses, those that we have perhaps traditionally thought of, sight, smell, taste, sound, touch. But we also have senses that are very internal, the sense of proprioception, knowing where we are in space and time. Secondly, consider lying down on some kind of a surface. In other words, putting yourself in a horizontal position, whether it's on your side, on your back, on your stomach. And the reason for that is that by having more contact with the surface, you get more feedback from what it is that you are doing, how you are holding yourself, how you are organizing yourself at any given moment in time. And when we're sitting, we tend to just have that feedback from the surface that we're sitting on, through our shoes, through our feet, unless we're barefoot. And in standing, there's even less feedback from the surface that we're on through our feet. Most of us don't think about the air as a surface that we can get feedback from. We just kind of take that for granted, and it flies below our radar of awareness, we might say. So here you are, horizontal on some surface, horizontal in a way that's comfortable for you. And try not to change how you have positioned yourself. You may be very, very tempted to adjust yourself in ways that bring more comfort, but those little adjustments are teaching you or showing you something that you could discover about yourself in the way that you carry yourself, exist within yourself throughout the days of your lives. Just notice and pay attention. Here's some things that you might consider noticing. What's the first thing that captures your attention? Is it something within yourself? Something outside of the skin of yourself? Or something that is an interaction between the inside and the outside worlds? Where are you making contact between you and the surface that you're on? How much of you is in contact? How much of you is lifted? Sometimes the parts of ourselves that are lifted are parts of ourselves that we hold in unnecessary contraction. Right now we're giving ourselves permission to yield and to surrender to gravity in a horizontal position. But do we really do that? Notice differences between the sides of yourself. We often think of the left and the right sides of ourselves, but we have a top and a bottom sides of ourselves. We have a front and a back sides of ourselves. So what differences do you notice? Noticing differences is also a great teacher, because it gives you a place from which you can make changes, or it points out changes that transpire as you go through a sensory movement experience, such as emphasized through the Feldenkrais method. Particularly notices differences left and right. And by left, I mean the whole of the left, the front, the side, the back, the three-dimensionality of your left side, and the three-dimensionality of your right side. Where are places where you feel relaxed or soft? Where are places where you feel tight or rigid? Typical places: the mouth, the jaw, the neck, into the shoulders, gaze, a very focused, intense gaze, the lower back, the feet. How are you breathing is another important question to ask yourself. Our breath tells us a great deal about what is available to us and what is happening within us, how we're feeling, because our breathing patterns are associated with the emotions that we experience. So what's your breathing rhythm? The pace or rate, the depth of your breath. Where do you move within yourself as you breathe? Where do you feel the sensation of breath within you? And what are you doing with your eyes? Perhaps your eyes are open and you're staring at something, or perhaps your eyes are closed, because that helps you to turn within a little bit more. But are you trying to focus on something? Is your gaze soft? You're not trying to intently look at something? What other internal sensations might be tugging at your attention? So now shift your attention to the world around you. And maybe just that sentence caused you to open your eyes and look, or maybe you kept your eyes closed and you shifted your attention in a way that a blind person who cannot see the outside world has to focus or situate him or herself in the world around him or her. What's the boundary that defines you and separates you from an outer world? Is it your skin? Is it something inside of this physical skin, the anatomical skin? Is it something beyond the skin, some energetic field, or some definition of personal space? Certainly the boundary right now of what is me and what is not me is being called to question as we are being asked to maintain this 6-foot gap between us and any other human being. What is 6 feet, really? Is it really the distance of the markers on the floors in the stores? I don't think so. I think it's a little bit longer than what they're marking. What captures your attention in the outer world? What senses are you using to notice the outer world? Is it easy? In other words, is it easy for you to notice, perhaps with eyes closed, what's in your outer world? The space between you and objects or things that are around you, or sounds that penetrate your auditory field, or smells. To what are you motivated to listen? And which parts of yourself are you using to listen? Right, we typically think of our ears as the vehicles through which we listen. Well, certainly they are the organ of our body through which we hear, but we can listen with so much more. What are you using to listen? And the following image might be one to give you some very interesting hints about reframing your image of what you use to listen. Imagine breathing with your ears and listening with your skin. Breathing with your ears, listening with your skin. What does this image do for your listening? So the first steps of a daily practice involve noticing sensations and paying attention. So the questions of today's ditty have that intention to help you or to provide a beginning framework, but not the only framework for noticing sensations and paying attention. And you don't have to be horizontal to do this. You could be sitting in a chair, on a porch, on a balcony, in your living room looking out a window. You could be standing at the kitchen sink. So many places that you could find yourself that are opportunities for noticing sensations, for paying attention. And then the next steps to a practice will be unique for you. Because each one of you is unique in who you are, the image that you have of yourself, and this is the image that shapes how you move through the world, through your lives at each moment in time. But there are some commonalities, and we'll explore some of those in another Daily Ditty. So that's all for now. Have a great day.